Bubblegum Simulator used to be regarded as one of the best games to play on Roblox. In late of December 2020, Bubblegum Simulator reached 1 billion visits. Little did Rumble Studios know that this would be their last milestone they'd accomplish. But how did we get here? To understand why the game had such a massive impact and why it fell off, we need to rewind to the very beginning. Bubblegum Simulator isn't the first game Rumble Studios released. Prior to the development of Bubblegum Simulator, Mining Simulator was their first hit game. Released in early 2018, Mining Simulator managed to gain over 800 million visits. Some people say this game shaped all simulators and the introduction of Square Pets. This was a crazy accomplishment by Rumble Studios, which barely had any visits under their belt prior to this. This game would lead to all their knowledge and developing experience, which they would implement into their smash game, Bubblegum Simulator. Not even a year after Mining Simulator was released, Bubblegum Simulator was also released. On October 2020, Bubblegum Simulator released for everyone to play. Right from the beginning, everyone was attached to the game. The game had similar mechanics to Mining Simulator, where you would mine, collect pets, and sell everything you mine. Bubblegum Sim was a bit of the same, but instead you would blow your bubblegum as big as you can, then sell the bubblegum for coins. The game had multiple pets and features that were not seen in other games at the time. This game immediately saw success, and there was countless players active at once. Rumble Studio had created a community happy with their game, but as we all know, with great power comes great responsibility, and Rumble Studios knew that as they grew their dev and staff team. Over the next few months, Rumble Studios continued to update Bubblegum Simulator by implementing new worlds, new eggs, and new features. While most of these updates were good and received positive feedback, some other updates were left with negative feedback. Regardless, the game continued to strive over the coming months and years. A thing that made Rumble Studios different from other games at the time was that the studio was very active with the community. They used to host events, go live on YouTube, take in suggestions, and overall communicate with players over future updates. This kept the community informed about what was coming, and they approached future updates the right way by doing so. During 2018 and 2019, simulators were very popular and were growing very quickly. Rumble Studios had a lot of competition when it came to simulators, as games like Pet Simulator, Bee Swarm Simulator, and others were also getting the attentions of millions of players. This didn't really slow down Rumble Studios, but it put more pressure onto them to drop better updates with newer features that other developers were using in their games. While this didn't demotivate them, it soon would, as for the couple coming updates, they started facing backlash and started to notice a small drop in active players. It seemed like there were fewer players playing the game and being active in the community itself. This started to shape what looked like the ultimate downfall of Bubblegum Sim. As Bubblegum Simulator faced competition and higher player expectations, one of the biggest factors in its slow decline was the growing sense of repetitive updates. While the pet hatching and bubble blowing features were new at first, they weren't evolving fast enough to keep the players interested in it for longer. Many players began to express their anger that new updates felt more like repetitions of old updates rather than new updates. New eggs, pets, and roads were added, but the OG gameplay remained the same. Blow a bubble, sell it, and grind for pets. It lacked the evolving gameplay that competitors like PetSimX or Bee Swarm Simulator were pushing out. The community itself started to notice that Rumble Studios was focusing more on quantity rather than quality. Some updates were met with criticism for being rushed and simply not offering new features to keep players interested, and this in turn hurt the player count. By late 2021, Bubblegum Sim had gone from one of the most popular Roblox games in the past year to a soon-to-be-forgotten game. Rumble Studios' biggest challenge was maintaining the balance between offering updates to its loyal fanbase while also attracting new players. They tried to innovate by adding new features like enchanted pets, limited time events, and special holiday updates, but these updates only temporarily gained the interest of players. The tipping point came when rumors of Rumble Studios shifting focus to a new project began circulating. The updates for Bubblegum Simulator became less frequent. The strong community connection that once had Rumble Studios at the top was fading, leaving players uncertain about the game's future. It was clear that Rumble Studios was looking ahead, possibly toward a new game, leaving Bubblegum Simulator in a state of slow decline. But perhaps the thing that ended Bubblegum Simulator was the rise of Pet Simulator X, which captured the exact community of Bubblegum Simulator. This newer game offered more dynamic gameplay and better rewards, leaving many Bubblegum Simulator players feeling like they had overtaken their old favorite. As Pet Simulator X rose to popularity, it became clear that Bubblegum Simulator was quickly losing its player base. The better mechanics, frequent updates, and better progression in Pet Simulator X made players feel more rewarded for their time. While Bubblegum Simulator struggled to keep things exciting, Pet Simulator X kept players hooked with exclusive pets, new events, and a more rewarding economy. What once had made Bubblegum Simulator stand out, hatching pets, collecting coins, and grinding for progress, was now seen as repetitive and outdated compared to the fast-paced and better gameplay of newer games. Features like leaderboards, better trading systems, and an active community around Pet Simulator X showed how much Bubblegum Simulator had failed to progress over time. Players who had spent hours grinding in Bubblegum Simulator now found themselves shifting to Pet Simulator X. These weren't just casual players leaving either. Longtime fans and even popular YouTubers who used to focus on Bubblegum Simulator started moving to other games, bringing large parts of the community with them. While Bubblegum Simulator did introduce new updates, they felt more like last-minute attempts to revive the game. And after a few more updates, Rumble Studios had released their last update to Bubblegum Simulator. This marked the end of an era, and Rumble Studios had lost interest in the game the same way the players had lost it. Despite the fall off of Bubblegum Simulator, Rumble Studios isn't ready to let the game go just yet. A few weeks ago, some new news emerged. Bubblegum Simulator's sequel is releasing soon. This new game aims to address the flaws of the original game while bringing back the OG feeling that made the first game so popular. Early leaks have suggested that Bubblegum Simulator 2 will introduce better graphics, new gameplay mechanics, and a more dynamic economy. Rumble Studios appears committed to the community's feedback, with promises of better gameplay and new features. The developers are focusing on making a more engaging experience that keeps players coming back. Rumble Studios also plans to add features that enhance activity in-game rather than just staying AFK all day and night, such as in-game events and challenges. This shows that they're understanding that listening to the community and learning from previous mistakes will help their game thrive. Another thing that might hint towards the success of BGS 2 is that its biggest competition, Pet Simulator 99, is starting to gain less traction, and players are starting to slowly shift away from the game due to similar instances that BGS faced. And since most Pet Simulator players used to play Bubblegum Sim, then this will likely draw them to Bubblegum Simulator 2. While more hype builds up for the sequel, the question still remains, will Bubblegum Simulator 2 manage to revive the OG feelings of Bubblegum Simulator, or will it meet the same fate as the original? Bubblegum Simulator stands as a story to both the popular and the up-and-coming games. It managed to garner millions of players. However, as competition grew and player expectations grew, the game struggled to keep up. Whether Bubblegum Simulator 2 lives up to the hype of the original is a question that'll be answered after the game releases, but for many players, the excitement of a sequel brings back memories and the hope for a better game. Hopefully one day we will get to enjoy the thrill of unlocking new worlds, new pets, and mastering the entire game. That's all for today's video. Thank you for watching until the end. If you enjoyed this video, then you might enjoy one of these other two videos. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers soon, so if you would like to help me out, then please consider subscribing.